In this video, I want to talk about something very important to climbing ranked, not just in Deadlock, but basically any game, and that is your mental. It seems very simple, but there are actually a lot of nuances and things you might not have thought of when it comes to mental, so stick around and you'll find this video helpful. I'm going to start off by talking about the 30-30-40 rule, or whatever variation of this you've heard of, but for this video I'm going to use 30-30-40. This is probably the single most important thing that has helped my mental when it comes to climbing. For those of you that don't know, the 30-30-40 rule is 30% of your games are free wins as long as you're not actively throwing, which if you watch some of my gameplay, you might think that's exactly what I'm doing. Another 30% of your games are going to be losses, no matter how hard or perfect you play. And the remaining 40% of your games are where your performance is what will be the determining factor in if you win or lose. But I really want to explain how to properly think about this, as I see it misused and misinterpreted all the time. In the 30% of games that are free wins, it's important that you don't get lazy and complacent. I like to identify why is this game a free win, and ask questions like, if I was in their position, what would I do to try and turn the situation around? And then I like to think of ways to counter that. This is why I tend to throw leads way less, making my free wins stay free wins. Here's an overly simplified hypothetical situation. You're playing a 7 or maybe some other carry, and you have, let's say, a Mina Abrams lane that's really popping off. So let's say they're 12-0 at 10 minutes. You can't just go, oh well, they've won the game, and I can kind of just AFK farm and follow them around trying to team fight for mid-boss. It's way better if you're keeping your lane shoved so that your Mina and Abrams can actually carry you, and you're still applying pressure on the enemies, either forcing them to slowly bleed out to this Mina and Abrams, or they have to go and try and overpower this Mina and Abrams, and in which case you end up taking walkers and stealing jungle farm. Or if you're playing a support like Paige, you should look at what the enemy will try and buy to shut down your Mina Abrams. And you need to help counter that with items like Rescue Beam if they have a Bebop that with one hook can change the course of a game, or Divine Barrier if they have a pocket with max ult. You still need to be active in these games. Next is the 30% of games that are guaranteed losses. Sometimes your team goes 0-12 in lane and you're down 2 walkers before Sinners even spawn, or the much less obvious part of the 30% of losses is where you think the game is free, but then say your Fed Infernus tries to solo mid-boss, dies, and gives all 3 rejues to the enemy team and they come back and win. And that is one of the most important realizations when it comes to the 30-30-40 rule. There is nothing you can do to control your teammates, but it's super important in those games not to check out and give up. Because if you give up, the 30-30-40 rule turns into the 30-70 rule. Deadlock is balanced in such a way that there is always a chance to come back no matter how far you are behind. And a game you thought was in the 30% auto loss was actually in the 40%, whereas if you were trying, you could have turned the game around because they had a similar play to your Infernus where they throw the game. Even if that chance is 1 in a million, it's worth trying, because you can't improve or learn anything if you give up. Now, this could be something as simple as practicing the blue lane rollout, or farming a jungle camp in a more efficient way. Maybe there's a Fed Lash that's giving your team a bunch of trouble, so why don't you try buying Knockdown or Counterspell to make it harder for them to do what they want, even if the game is a total blowout. It's perfect practice for a different game that's in the 40%, and in these little bits of practice and knowledge is what will make you a better player in the long run, so you're learning even while losing. And that's something that separates good and great players. And that is the important takeaway from this rule. It's not something that says you're going to have 60% of your games be out of your control no matter what, and you can only control the 40%. And that is what people are misinterpreting. You still need to try in every single one of your games, because you can never know what type of game you're in, even after the fact. Another thing I want to talk about is something I know we are all way too familiar with: gamer rage. It's very important to understand your own limits when it comes to raging, and I have a fairly short temper, so I've made it a rule that if I lose 2 games in a row, I get off for the day. Or even if I have one really bad game, because I know as soon as something doesn't go perfect in the next game, I'm going to tilt, start blaming the awful matchmaking and my teammates rather than keeping my head in the game, making the 30-30-40 rule into the 30-70 rule. Now, to help combat this gamer rage, something I can't recommend enough is taking breaks. And there are 2 different kind of breaks I'm going to talk about, that being short and long breaks. Short breaks are 30 minutes to maybe a couple of hours. During these, it's best to go for a walk, watch a YouTube video, or tackle some of that ever-increasing evil pile of laundry that's been accumulating in the corner of your room. Short breaks are best used after playing a few games in a row. It's similar to studying. Your brain will get exhausted after a few hours, so you need a break because what you're doing is a workout for your brain. So make sure to take breaks often to make sure you don't overwork it. There are also times when a longer break is necessary. I'm talking about 1 to 3 days. These are to help you relax and reduce burnout, if not completely eliminate it. Deadlock is a game, and games are supposed to be fun. It shouldn't feel like a grind. Plus, little side note, taking long breaks is actually a faster way to rank up, but I'm not going to get into how the rank system works, at least not in this video. Taking a couple days off lets you come back excited to play and learn rather than feeling like some grueling daily task where you have to gamble your sanity to the matchmaking gods every day. Take breaks and play some other games, watch a movie or a TV show, or better yet, go hang out with some friends and family. There's so many fun and healthy things out there to do other than grind Deadlock 24/7, because if you do, your mental will suffer, which is a great way to segue into my last topic, patience. Improving isn't fast, and neither is ranking up. It can take months and months to improve and rank up, so you have to be patient with yourself. Your rank is going to climb and fall, and that's totally fine and normal. I've somewhat recently went on a massive loss streak. Over the course of maybe 30 games, I think I won maybe 5 of them. And there will be times like that. There'll be times where you feel like you've plateaued and you're just win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. But that's just the reality of playing in a skill-based rank system and not some engagement-based system like Call of Duty that's going to put you into lobbies with noobs if you lose a few too many games in a row so that you don't log off and you keep buying their overpriced AI slop cosmetics. Sometimes there will be days where I get up planning on playing some Deadlock that day. You know, I'll make my coffee, eat breakfast, do my quick little workout routine, open Deadlock, and then decide that I kind of have a weird feeling about queuing up and I'm not 100% there mentally. And I know right then and there that I should not be playing. So what I might do is I'll implement maybe a short break at first, and I'll watch a YouTube video that I saw on my recommended. Or I might start playing another game, and I end up having so much fun with that game that I don't even end up playing that day. And that's how I work long breaks into my routine just very naturally. And that's something I do all the time, and I can't recommend it enough to anyone who is serious about climbing ranks. If you feel a bit off that day, just don't play. Take a break. Now, you'll have hopefully noticed that this is not some topic where I can give you the magical answer to perfect mental and make you climb to Eternus in 6 hours. But I do hope that I have helped you understand why mental is so important, and maybe I help nudge you down the right path that will help you manage your own mental in the future and make your climb to Eternus that much easier. Anyway, good luck out there. Okay, bye.